This computer. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our ad hoc meeting on US tariff. I'm sharing this from it is indeed a concern in the market on the reason this equity market volatility and the Black Monday. And I quite worry, when you all join, for example, those meeting from IFAS, Philip Capital, or whatsoever, when you listen to the analyst or the fund manager talking, those fund managers or analysts from the fund house, when they say something, they may say from the perspective of fund management and analysts, correct, ladies and gentlemen? One, they probably will from that perspective, from capital market, from interest rate, from whatsoever, these sort of things that sometimes because they are fund managers, they are analysts, they are not politicians, they are not marketing people, they are not business owners, they are not politicians. So the perspective are a bit different. So I very worry. So regardless of what they share, I would like to share first from my perspective first before you actually listen to them. At least you have certain thing in mind already. 打强心针 you get my point. You got preparation. On what to hear. And your independent thinking. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my perspective. My perspective doesn't represent anything lah. That's my perspective. You can refer to. Okay, so now first thing first, we need to know politics versus media versus 人云亦云 and critical thinking. These four things are different, so maybe when you listen to those analysts or investment managers or fund managers, they may not come from this perspective of overall management perspective. So now we look at politics. So today, when let's say this Singapore Prime Minister, Mr. Lawrence, he used to have one TikTok video or short video, right? Ask the Singapore citizen to embrace brace to impact, saying that our the global economy is how it looks very scary. Those are politician talks, lah. So a lot of politicians start to comment on US tariff. So politician like to please who? One, I need somebody to talk to me lah, maybe, right? Texing, do you think politician their target market is to please who?
To all the rest, the 选民 and their own country people lah. They want
Yeah,
to,
the voters,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
They want to talk to the voters, right?
yeah.
So usually voters what voters like to listen. So that is what they want to talk lah, right? So that is their objective, their agenda. And Singapore is having their general election in few months time. So probably certain videos created are a little bit like election driven lah, election driven. So sometimes when politicians say a lot of things, right, they may not impress the true situation lah, but because most of the people are saying like that, so as you want to remain in power, you need to say certain thing to comfort your people lah, and most of the people outside are not managerial people, are normal rakyat. There are more leaders outside or more followers outside, employees. More business owners or more employees. I think more employees more than business owners. Leaders always have a fewer group of people, but followers a lot, right? So as a politician, you need to place the large crowd, So this is one thing. So the second thing is media. So media will not talking about, usually media will exaggerate about bad things lah, will 加盐加醋 lah, tambah cuka, because bad news travel faster and have better views, right? That is their objective. They want people to listen to their radio more, bad news travel faster. So today, the tariff news, right? It is like a small cut, but it can exaggerate until like as if you lost the whole hand. You got my point? 本来是一个小伤口 but you can the media can describe until this is the end of the world or the third world war is coming. So these are media. So when in this type of time, right, if you always listen to media, you will be very negative and you feel like tomorrow is the end of the world. So I think if you cannot stand the media pressure, right, you don't watch media now. You got my point here? Because it will influence your emotion. Those things that the media input might not be true. You got my point? Okay, so the third, 人云亦云. Lazy people are more in the market, right? Those people who who are at the lower spectrum of the pyramid. There's more people at the lower spectrum of the pyramid. So 人云亦云 means people talk then you follow. People talk then you follow. So those people who understand Mandarin, 人云亦云, you know what is that, right? So 人云亦云, US like that lah. So when a lot of people are talking, this is a crowd pressure on belief in something. So ladies and gentlemen, we need to have critical thinking. So today I'm sharing from a critical thinking point of view. Okay, so now we go to this 4%. Because of time issue, I have to make it short. Xi Jinping, Mahathir, Lee Kuan Yew, Donald Trump. What are them in common? Come, who want to try? Alan, podcaster, who are these 4%? What in common?
They are the president and the prime minister.
Yeah, yes, of course, my father is male. Yeah, what other things that they are in common?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, who want to try?
Dictator.
Yes, who answer this one?
Jenkins.
你很特别生意人果然是不一样。OK 哈，我们Jenkins run his own company his own barber shop So as a business owner, maybe think differently So they are dictator. They are the modern dictator. You got my point? We call it the parliamentary dictator. At the parliamentary setup, they are dictator of their own party. For example, like Xi Jinping, though there's no election on the communist country, but under their own party, they have election also. So who is a dictator on his own party. Mahathir is a parliamentary dictator of Malaysia. Lee Kuan Yew also the same. Although it is run by a parliamentary procedure in Singapore, it's a democracy country, that adopt democracy system. But he is a kind of the modern dictators in a parliamentary setup. So do Donald Trump. You got my point here. So now we look at one thing. Why China emerged so strong despite billion of people of population? As a business owner, right? Jenkins, right? If you manage 10 workers, 10 staff, you already very headache because everyone got noise on their own opinion. If you want to manage 10%, also difficult. What else? You manage 33 million, 36 million population like Malaysia. Malaysia got only 36 million population, very headache already. You see our politician, our policies, government policies, right? How could China manage billions of population and can emerge strong in 20 years? You got my point here? Because of what? The modern dictatorship. Okay, you need to understand that. Like Singapore also. From post-independent of Singapore, 1960s, okay, until now, only 30 years, 40 years, Singapore become one of the richest country in the world. You know why? Because of the strong management of Lee Kuan Yew. You got my point? So these are called modern dictatorship. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to understand smart dictatorship is for change management. Change management, right? So today, US is going downhill. Or anything go up will go down. We must understand this thing. This is norm. Anything go up will go down, right? So now you need to maintain at a high position. US want to maintain at a high position and a decaying stage. Now it's decaying. You need to maintain at a high position. You need to change. You got my point? Everything go up can go down. So now Donald Trump is going to make you, yes, great. Okay, you're going to climb up. So these are called change management. Change is painful. You understand? Ladies and gentlemen, change is painful. Change is painful. You need a dictator. In modern business management, leadership management, we call it a hawkish leadership. So you see, in US US president, there are two types of president. There are two types. There are two parties: the Republicans and the Democrats. The Republicans are more harsh. The Democrats are more diplomats. You got my point? So, like a house, like in a home, you got a father, you got a mother. One person play a harsh role, one person play a diplomatic role. 明白吗？一个家里也是有一个比较硬的父亲可能是一个比较软的母亲，有一些人是比较硬的母亲，有一些比较软的父亲啦。Whatever. So a husband and wife, 爸爸妈妈one part will be 一个臭人，一个人好人。So in the country setup, in the political setup in US, these two parties, right? So one party will play a harsh role, one party will play a more liberal or more dovish role. So now US need a hawkish leadership. That is one of the reasons why Republicans win this election through Donald Trump. So now US need a hawkish leadership. Are we in another bad, not so nice used word called dictatorship? The modern dictator. You know, is it? So they need a hawkish leadership. Very sad to say, if we use the word smart dictatorship in this setup, it could be used properly, lah. In a modern US setup, or he is a dictator of the US. Yes, you need a dictator-like person to change the country at this moment of time, right? Okay, so that I think a lot of fund management analysts will not start talking about these leadership management in capital market, right? So now, voice and noise can halt progress. Any of the president or politician want to do any progress, if he hear a lot of noise, he consider a lot of noise or voice from the rakyat, no policies can be done. You got my point here? That's why China adopting dictatorship in their country, right? Okay, Xi Jinping, the parties in China just don't care what you say, the party say you sit, you stand. They use military power to control the rakyat in China. That's why in China, 20 years, you like it or not, okay, because of the modern dictatorship, China evolved. Okay, you got my point. So when it comes to change management, there's a lot of people not happy, uncomfortable, because nobody like to, usually people like status quo, comfort zone. If you ask those people comfort zone to wake up, to work hard, or to change to those things that they don't not used to do. So there's a lot of voice, opinion, and noise. So if you listen more on this thing, the progress will be halt. So that's change management need a hawkish leader. Okay, so now Donald Trump played the role as a hawkish leader here. Okay, so now Republican and Democrats, this is how I say it. Okay, as April 2025, Trump Republicans are significantly more hawkish than the Democrats. Okay, both in economic and foreign policies, right? Okay, now we go just to talk about some tariff thing tariff. In case that our people don't understand what is tariff, right? Okay, but actually all of us know what is tariff lah. It involves you and me. Okay, let's say Mr. Francis now, Francis now you buy a Mercedes-Benz import from UK, right? Import from UK. You kena how much tariff, Francis? 100%, 200% tariff, right? Import duty. We call it import duty, right? So we have, since we also tariff other people's car to protect our Proton last night, right? Because to protect the Proton, our government imposed import duty on imported car, right? So up 100%, 200% of import duties. So if we can impose the tariff on import vehicle, to protect our Proton, why not US? You got my point here. So that Mercedes-Benz import is very expensive. So now you buy Proton lah. So that's what the story about Proton and imported cars. Okay. Likewise, our government say, why not you Mercedes-Benz come and build a factory in Pahang, or BMW make it in Kulim. Porsche come lately to build their plants in what? In Kulim, right, ladies and gentlemen? Kulim got Porsche plant, right? So the assembly plant. So the import duty will be reduced. Probably the duties on the spark only, because they knock down, they assemble here. Jocelyn, you get my point here? So this is exactly what Donald Trump is trying to do. You get my point? So if you did direct import, it might be higher in tariff. But why not you set up your plant here, lah? So I give you zero tariff, or very minimal tariff. Okay, you got my point here. So that is normal in international trade. But the media and the politicians like to goreng it. I use a very unprofessional word called goreng. Goreng. Some politicians, some media like to goreng it like as if tomorrow is the end of the world, right? So now, if the import duty of the cars, it's common until today also have. I buy my Porsche also got kena import duty one lah. So many 100%. We still pay for it, right? Now who pay for it? Okay, is Europe? Is German government paying for it, or German rakyat pay for my Porsche import? No, I'm the one who pay for it, right? I'm rakyat Malaysia. Malaysia import duty of European cars, the German's car. I kena 200%, let's say 100% of duty on import of the car. I, John Chan, pay for it. You got my point? So the rakyat of the country that imposed the tariff pay for it. So in this case of US tariff, it's the US citizen who pay for it. It's not Malaysian or China people pay for it. US citizen themselves pay for it. So where is the money go? Oh, Deslin, US citizen buy China product. He had to pay, let's say, 70% extra on tariff. For example, accumulatively, let's say 70%. $100 things become $170. $70 extra will go to the federal government or US pocket. Yeah. So this money will go to where? Doesn't go to Malaysia or China. It go back to the US government. You know that? So they tax the 70%, the 70%, the $70 will still go back to the US government. The money is still there. Still belongs to the US people, whether it's in the rakyat pocket or in the government pocket. So now the $70 will go to the US pocket, the government pocket. So you must understand. You see, media and the politician always now today, you see all the news, people talk about, wow, so bad, so bad, so bad, 24%, 36%, 72%, or whatsoever, talking about how the US government going to increase the tariff, right? But they don't actually talk about how US government will use the money. You got my point? That make people so kanjiong, so terkejut. You got my point here, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, Francis, you got my point here? Yeah, the Trump government take your tariff 70%. Then the 70% go to the federal government, right? The Trump government, right? So how do any media or what say about how actually Donald Trump will use this 70% of the tariff to benefit back the rakyat? No, right? No politician talk about that, right? Correct, Francis? Do any politician in the world talking about that? How Trump are you going to use the $70 for what? Do the media, the TVs, the radios, the social medias talking about how the US government are going to use the tariff money, how to put in English, tariff money, wang yang dicukaikan. Okay, so what are the possible outlooks? So ladies and gentlemen, they are not talking about that. That's why you make the market knee-jerk, panic, So now, actually, in few months' time to come, when times matured, I think it is the strategies of Donald Trump not to announce at this moment of time. Later, I'll tell you possibly why he don't announce it now. Maybe it is his strategies to do it like that. Or later. Next page, I will share why he don't announce. Right? So now, from my perspective, I think in short future, maybe 1 month down the road, 3 months or 6 months down the road, what will happen? Tax break will happen. Tax incentive, and corporate subsidy. What are these things will happen? Tax break, for example, let's say, right, Francis, today I tax you 70% on China goods. Okay? So on the other hand, I told I give tax incentive to all manufacturers that have plant in US. Let's say, for example, your tax only 2%. Income tax only 2%. Do you think US will get crazy? US company will get crazy? Ladies and gentlemen, if you think US company will get crazy, you angguk kepala. I like a two-way traffic, two-way communication with our advisor. Hey, income tax 2%嘛了. Instead of 40%, now 2%. US companies that have manufacturing plant that fulfill KPI, you hire new staff, of course they give you some terms and conditions, how many new workers you have or whatsoever. They give you a tax break or a tax reduction for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, maybe 2% or 5% or zero tax. Can Do you think US stock will rally again, Jaslyn? Tomorrow, wow, this good news. You see S&P 500 spike again for 10 in 1 day, 5%. Then in 1 month, spike another 10 to 20%, going up. So now is a very good time to buy discounted stock, shares, equities. Now, because discounted by 5 to 10% each market, maybe more than 10%, right? But I forecast that it will go up very soon. As long when these incentives are being announced, right? So let's say 2% incentive. I think a lot of automotive companies will like to set up their plant in US to enjoy the 5 years tax break, 2%, for example. So what are corporate subsidies? Okay, what are the other things? Minor cash to the rakyat. So the tax collected from the tariff, can come in the form of helicopter money. You know what's helicopter money? I think a lot of us actually enjoy helicopter money during COVID-19, right? The government suddenly, Ziwei, every rakyat have 1,000 ringgit to spend. You download My Sejahtera. Then what? Touch and go e-wallet. Then you scan, what, then I give you 1,000 ringgit. Cannot. So these are helicopter money. We possible to see a helicopter money from the US government, to please the rakyat lah. At least to stimulate that domestic spending. Correct, Francis? So this one, during COVID-19, there's a lot of helicopter money. So helicopter money must come from somewhere, some source. So the tariff money convert to become helicopter money, for the consumer to spend, right? So you stimulate the domestic market. Okay. So then what? Another thing, company incentive, the rakyat spending. Government helicopter the money through companies. Let's say US government, give money to corporates, to companies, to factories, to companies to help their rakyat spending. How it works? You see here now, Ben. Let's say in Malaysian context, Malaysian Kerajaan Madani, let's say, give Yes Financial 10,000. Can imagine if I fulfill certain criteria, Kerajaan Madani bagi Yes Financial 10,000. Then they ask us to give 10% who qualified one, a voucher, a voucher to buy iPad. Because Anwar Ibrahim said iPad is important to do sales for Prudential, AIA, Hong Leong, or whatsoever. Now doing insurance with iPad, right? So government support the life insurance industry by giving 10,000 each to each insurance agency, so that the insurance agency can choose top 10 advisor or those advisors that agents that need to buy iPad to spend. Then we use that 10,000 to give Catherine Chang 1,000 Apple voucher, or Jaslyn 1,000 Apple voucher, Ben Ong 1,000 Apple voucher to buy Apple iPad. You understand, ladies and gentlemen, now? Is this spending? Francis, is this a spending? Yes, indeed it's spending. So these are the spending channeled by companies through the government. Government use company to stimulate targeted spending. So the targeted area of the US market, the consumer market will search, with the government initiative pushed by the company. Okay? So these are the ways. So these three things, the media never say. You get my point? If you say like that, the possible thing that will happen, then nobody will panic sell their shares already. You got, so okay, so you got that thing, right? So then this thing, I said I will give you some answer why I think Trump do not announce just now the tax incentive, cash helicopter money, corporate incentive yet. Why? Maybe it's under his strategy. Maybe I think very strong evidence that very strong guess. My guess. I think very strong strongly correct on my guess on his strategies You see, hands off. A few days ago, we have the highest number of crowd of rally, anti-Trump protest. The whole US, the major city, a small city, and thousands of US citizens coming out to the crowd. It's like something like birthday, Francis. Something like our Malaysian birthday, very terrible, almost half of the population come out to protest, correct? Not only in US, those Americans staying in Europe also come out to the street, to protest, hoping maybe can impeach the president to change president. Then a lot of politicians outside start to do a lot of things. Is this do you think this is under the strategies of Donald Trump, Francis? Do you think this is the one of the objective of Donald Trump?
He instigated it.
Well, your English very
encouraged it, but he instigated it because of his policy.
Instigated it. Your English very deep. Can you explain a bit? A lot of people may not understand. Instigated means what?
Indirectly create such situation whereby people will respond negatively. I would look at it as a part of his strategy.
Thank you. I think, thanks, Francis. I think it is part of his strategy. By purpose, he's looking for that. You know why? Okay, I think our guess will be correct. With the following points that I would like to share later. What now? Beside this hands off, I would like to bring you to one thing that you need to think about. Do you know after Donald Trump chair presidency, he fired a significant number of federal staff. Kaki tangan kerajaan. In Malaysia, we call it kaki tangan kerajaan. You know, government staff. They fire, I think how many percent? I forget already. You can Google it. Then you know how many percent of the kaki tangan kerajaan being fired by Donald Trump. And why? What is the message behind? Francis, I like your sharing. Do you think what is the message behind Trump firing? I think 30% of the, you see 30%, you Google and know quite a significant number of federal staff. What is the message behind?
Well, I think he feels that the government employees is over bloated. Bloated means that there are just too many, and a lot of them are, and that results in a very high bureaucratic situation whereby things go very slow and becomes very inefficient. That is what we see from the surface, but I'm not sure what is the behind the scene.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you are partially right. Okay. My perspective, my guess is what is the message behind firing significant number of bad staff? Of course, to clear off those people who are inefficient, the bad apples, the lazy one. Yeah, of course, from the surface you see this, right? What is the message behind? The message behind is, you see, with another person called Elon Musk inside the advisory board. So these are stories behind the agendas behind. What are the agenda behind? Meaning the Trump administration are sending a strong message out to the fellow US citizen that, hello, US company will fire unproductive employees. You got my point here, ladies and gentlemen? If you understand, angkut kepala. If I, as a president, I can fire my own staff at the government department, I will support my companies to fire their staff. Because way out in the European countries, the Western countries, human rights are very strong one, you know. Oh, you fire me, I sue you. You understand, Kwan? You cannot simply fire a person one. They will trigger legal battles one, you know. Then the union will come out lah. This workers union, that workers union lah, you know. So the union is too strong until it can halt the government improvement, the country's improvement. Because the union talk too much. You understand? The employee union, persatuan, there's a lot of persatuan pekerja. You get my point? Or individual or a group of employees sue the company by you fire me, I got no job, I lose my income, then they sue the company. So despite all this noise, Trump administration have an upper hand now, sending a message to the fellow Americans that, hey, as a government, as a president, he lead by example to fire his own staff first before any other corporate fire their staff. Got my point here, ladies and gentlemen? You understand? So next time, if the US company are going to fire their staff, this is the government direction. So, if this is the message, I think a lot of rakyat are scared and need to work hard. As everyone knows, the Western thinking, right? They after 5 o'clock, they like jogging, go to beach, you know, work from home. Very relaxed, right? You know, to them it's work-life balance lah. But they're Francis, correct. After 5 o'clock, you cannot call me. Sunday, you don't call me. You know, you go Australia, the bank close at 1 p.m. and you know. Basically 3 o'clock, nobody in the bank already. The whole bank, you know. Because 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you can see them jogging at the beach side, cycling already. You got my point? So these are Westerners. But the competitors now are the Asian, you know, the Chinese. The Chinese work 24/7, non-stop. So ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to a part that not only you will work smart, now the world need to work hard because you got a crazy competitor called Chinese, Koreans, Japanese. Correct, ladies and gentlemen? Dear Westerners, you need to wake up, work smart and work hard. So those people who work smart don't work hard, or don't work smart, don't work hard, the rakyat are scared over in America, right? This is a wake-up warning that you need to be efficient, be productive. So the bad apples are worried. So the lazy government servant, the lazy rakyat, of course, come out to protest. Catherine, correct? Those people, before you fire me, because you fire the government servant already, right? First batch, right? Without this stupid Elon Musk backing behind, talking about efficiency. Wah, piang eh, you got my point. Later, all the companies also kena already. So the lazy rakyat and the lazy government servant will together come out to give pressure to the government, hoping it's better to topple the government. You got my point? Also, that somebody who are more liberal, more nice, probably like Obama, more nice, right? Can talk, can diplomat, right? Become president so that they can continue their lifestyle, right? Understand? Understand? So, but however, if not mistaken, I heard from my friends and my source in the in the US side, those people who voted for Donald Trump, those voters are very happy on what Donald Trump do. So, but on the other hand, those lazy people, who are feeling threatened, they come out for protest, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, cost of labor. So then you see that, okay, now you say, oh, John, I want to move the manufacturing back to US to create job in US. But the US labor cost is so high. It's not efficient to bring back the manufacturing plant to US, right, Leslie? Logic or not? Vietnam is cheap labor cost. India, the manufacturing plants should go to Bangladesh, India, Vietnam, these are big place. Why go back to China, US? It's very expensive. Labor cost is high. Yes, you are correct, and you may not be correct also So what I want to share here is the cost of labor in US depends on district, on areas, on states. A lot of state, right? Some areas, right? People are jobless, especially those places that dominated by the black, and the Mexican Americans, So these people. So these people got no job. So imagine, then, or clean, if a place is an area, you got a lot of jobless people, security got problem or not? Catherine? Security got problem. That's why then you need a lot of guns, pistol. That's a bad 循环, it's a bad rotation, because you a lot of people are jobless, then they create a lot of social problem. Then you need to carry gun in your home. So that's also security and safety problem, So they need a job. So now we believe that Donald Trump is going to create a lot of jobs for these people, right? So these people their labor costs might not be high, right? So many district people are jobless and low labor costs for those districts, And US got good roads. Transportation is not a problem. You go and set up a plant there. So in setting up a manufacturing plant, industry, land is very important. Singapore got no land. Come over to Johor to set up a plant, they probably need to buy a big, huge piece of land in Johor, which is not cheap, right? But US, there's a plan. Who went to the US before? I think a lot of us went to US before. Or you see a lot of US movie, right? US, like Australia, the tanah is very large. They got plenty of land, They got plenty of land in US, Maybe Donald Trump give you free for 3 years, a few years, can or not? Would it be possible? Or they rent to you with a very, very low cost? Or they sell the land to you with a very low cost? Possible? Justin, possible? Or they give you free 5 years of zero rental, you come and set up a plant. As long as you set up a plant here, okay, I give you free land. Can or not? then you create job to take care of Americans here. Got tax break, got land benefit, to those companies who come to set up a plant there, and if it is not free, then it's cheap lah, the land, for you to set up a plant. Infrastructure is very good in US, and if you need if you mati you want to say, oh, labor cost is high compared to China, compared to Vietnam, compared to India or whatsoever. Yeah, in case of really if the labor cost is not cheap, there's also no issue because we believe that Donald Trump will encourage those AI, those manufacturing plant with some automation and artificial intelligence adoption into setting up a plant, right? Jaslyn, if you are minister, takkan you want to take the manual work factory to put in your country, man? Of course, you will welcome those semi-automated or automated with artificial intelligence plant, right? So if you have an AI assisted plant, high labor cost, not so important, not an issue already. You got my point? And US got a very good ecosystem for automation engineers. And you need an ecosystem for AIs and high tech. US have that all. So they just want you to go to US to set up plant and create jobs over there. So these are, and all these rallies, right? These protests, I think it is, for normal media, it is called panic lah. But maybe for Trump administration, this is a strategy to rock the nest and a wake-up call for the lazy Americans that you have to go through a change. So Donald Trump in his Air Force One, he said, this is medicine. America a sick person need to eat medicine. Then you probably will pening for a few days, then you'll recover. So ladies and gentlemen, for investment, I don't see any sign of depression or recession, in this short period, right? But indeed, I saw chances. You know why? The market is down tremendously now because of panic. Yeah, panic by the retail or maybe the stupid I cannot say because it's recorded. Or not so smart fund managers that follow the crowd, right? Not all fund managers are smart. Fund managers just got their license because they passed certain exam and attached to a fund management company, right? So not all fund managers are smart, right? So maybe certain not so smart fund managers or the retails who are think that panic or follow the crowd, So the market have a knee jerk, and a lot of equities around the world, are suffering we can't say sort of losses string the market is down for many days here and significant discount on equity valuation, right? So it's the time for us to buy low, and buy a discount, and I foresee that in a few months to come, when the time is matured, Donald Trump will announce their tax incentive, cash incentive, helicopter money, all these things. When he announced these things, I believe that suddenly, the equity market will rally again. Correct, Jaslyn? You imagine, tomorrow, Donald Trump say all US company that got plant in US enjoy 2% income tax for 36 months. Do you think equity will rally? Confirm will rally, right? Then every US company have a grant to of how much money for you to subsidize half salary if you hire US citizens who are jobless. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, some of our staff in Yes Financial, we do enjoy some incentive from the government, Their salary half pay only, The government pay half, we pay half only during COVID-19. Do you realize that some of our staff hired, we pay only half salary. Half are paid by the government. This person must be a fresh graduate or what or a female or who whatsoever There's a quota for us to hire these type of people, but the government subsidize half salary one. There's a lot of things like that, especially during COVID-19. So one day when Trump administration announced this thing that the government use the tariff money to help you to hire staff with halfly paid and subsidized by the government, do you think equity market will rally? Right? So by that time, only you kanchong buy US equity or you buy now. Ladies and gentlemen, you buy now or you buy during announcement. If you buy through discount, you can type one here in our chat box. I want to see how many are still with me. Buy now. Buy from discount. You buy now. Type buy now. You don't wait until Donald Trump announce tax incentive, helicopter money, employee subsidy, grant. Then only you kanchong want to enter. You are too late, brother. Now is the chance for you, for us, to enter the market, with great discount, right? But when you talk about how the US, the China stock behave, Malaysian stock, whatsoever, that one I got when the US market got good news, I believe the entire global equities will recover, and maybe we're back to as it before, So so that's my sharing. I don't think that there's a lot of analysts or fund manager will share from the point from my angle, So I hope that I give you all a mental preparation, and also a strategy preparation, despite what prime minister or what ministers talking outside, So this is what my view. If I'm Donald Trump, I will do the same thing. If I'm Donald Trump, I'm going to do the same thing. Talking about free trade market, there's no 100% free trade market. You say WTO or whatsoever. Malaysia, if you buy an imported car from Europe, AP unwrapped, you still need to pay heavy import duty, right? Where got free trade? You got my point. Huh? Wait, where got free trade? You said Malaysia are under the free trade or whatsoever, but you buy, I buy car, I pay heavy import duty. So if Donald Trump is going to do that, what's wrong, right? So ladies and gentlemen, okay, one thing. Would US need to do that? Would it need US, Donald Trump to make US great again? Okay, from this point, I personally think US need to be great again. You know why? Okay, in a group of animal, you need an alpha, correct? Do you need an alpha in a group of animal? You see, animal kingdom got one alpha one. Every country got one dominant one. The whole world need a leader. The whole world need an order, to maintain the world order. If US collapse, if US continue their deficit, the fiscal policy become weaker and weaker and weaker, do you think the world will be at risk? You said Donald Trump do this, there's a risk of being World War III or whatsoever, rearrange of world order, right? But from my point of view, I may think from a different angle. Donald Trump do this to maintain world order. Who is right, who is wrong, Francis? You get my point here? A lot of politicians say outside, Donald Trump do like that, it will disrupt the world order. Yeah, maybe the world order on trade. But from my perspective, Donald Trump do this to maintain world order in the whole. Why? Because if US doesn't stand strong, who will become the world number one superpower? Next one. Probably China. You get my point here, ladies and gentlemen. Between US and China, who wish US to become the world leader instead of China? If you are going to choose between two, who choose US? Type U. Who to choose China? Type C. Come, I just want to know from you all. Come, right, I want to know. Who choose US as a world leader to maintain world order? If not US collapse, then maybe China and Russia. I personally choose you. Though I'm a Chinese, I'm worried if China lead the world order. You got my point here, ladies and gentlemen. So, do US need to be strong again? Yes or no, ladies and gentlemen? Yes or no? Everyone talking about government of US having deficit, blah, 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 blah. You talk a lot, but show me the way. You got my point? If you are elected as a US president, those talk a lot, oh, deficit lah, GDP lah, this one lah, whatsoever lah. Show me the way. Then Donald Trump show you the way. Then you talk too much outside, talk bad, create conspiration. So, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump have no choice. In order to maintain as a number one order in the world, I think he got no choice to do it. Okay? Thank you very much. Okay, my recording stopped already. Anyone want to ask any question before I end? Oh, significant third out of 26. Okay. Yep.
What is the possibility of Donald Trump's strategy backfire?
Backfire from our perspective
looking like Europe at the moment, and China is retaliating by imposing higher tariff towards US goods now. They're trying to defend their economy from exiting their own region going into US. I'm not too sure how effective Donald Trump's strategy is at this point of time. Looking at his way of dealing with things, he's tarnishing his own country reputation from the way I look at it.
No.
He meant well. He wants to make America great again.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
If this thing, right, I can say from my mouth at this level of leadership, right, I'm a small tiku in the planet, right? If I can think like that, I think a lot of prime minister know what they are doing. From political standpoint, they talk. And behind the scene, two different things. Remember just now, my first slide. Politician, what? Politician, media, following the crowd, and this one, and independent thinking. A lot of politicians, when they talk, they create news, they are standing from the points of what the rakyat want to hear. So the ministers, the prime ministers, the king or whatsoever, the governor of whatever Europe countries, they are talking about these type of things to please who? To please their voters. You got my point? It might come from that perspective. But behind the scene, I think each government leaders know what they are doing. Through mathematics lah. But in this point of view, if let's say John Chan become a prime minister, Prime Minister John Chan say something like what I shared today in the Zoom here, I think I will lost my prime ministership. The rakyat will say this Prime Minister John is crazy. You get my point? John, you should do this, you should do this. Okay, sometimes politicians need to say something, do something for sure. What they do, what they say may not be the things that they will execute. It needs to balance up between what they import and what US export. What things that the Europe have. And what I hear is a lot of plants are actually, at a very happy mood, planning or going to plant their manufacturing plant in US already. It's quite positive. And a lot of them are the European companies. Okay, like what do Daimler do in Pahang? Our BMW and Porsche and Volvo setting up plants in Malaysia. So for them to enter into the US market, for them to set up a plant, because US is the biggest consumer market. If I want to sell 1,000, 1 million, 2 million cars in US, why not I set up a plant in US? If I can set up a plant in Malaysia, why don't I set up a plant in US? So these are from the business perspective, not from political perspective. But there's a lot of political staying around now. Because basically the whole world citizens are panicked now. In the panic mood. That's why today I got no choice to set up this ad hoc Zoom, to comfort all of you. And it's not to comfort all of you by what I want to tell you some certain things that it might be true from different perspective, right? Before you listen to Philip, IFAS, or whatsoever people, the analysts outside, they may have their other perspective, but I would like to share from my perspective. Okay, so that is important, right? My angle may be different from the fund manager's angle, right? Because maybe I'm a bit different because we are entrepreneurs, we manage companies, different. Fund managers' brain and marketing people's brain, leaders, entrepreneurs are different. We are different breed of people. Fund managers and entrepreneurs, different breed of people. Politicians, business are different breed of people. Businessmen, different breed of people. Because Donald Trump is a businessman. That's why he need to gang out with the business people called Tesla, Elon Musk. That's the reason why he has this Elon Musk as his advisor because business people usually do things, don't talk too much. Correct, Francis? Business people do things, don't talk too much. Politicians like to talk, but do less, right? Okay, so I think 1 hour already. Thanks for coming, and don't panic. I don't see any bad things around. And if I'm Trump, I'll be probably do the same thing, right? Okay, a sick person need to eat medicine. When you eat medicine, you suffer some short-term dizziness or diarrhea or vomit. After that you'll be cured. And life go back to normal and become more healthy than before, right? So this what I say is a similar things that what Donald Trump said yesterday in Air Force One aircraft. Sick people need to eat medicine. After eat medicine, you will have some dizziness, vomit, or whatsoever, side effect a bit. Then probably after a few months from now, when things settle down, a lot of countries start to renegotiate, and we see how things going. Then after the renegotiation, I believe when things are quite settling down, I think Donald Trump will have another calculation on how much forecast that he can collect from the tariff, and I think he will announce the tax break, the helicopter money, the corporate incentive, the land incentive, then that's the time where the US market, the equities, will rally again. But the problem here is when the equity market rally again, are you benefiting? Or are you panic buy-in? Francis, 起了啊，人家起了你才买咩？ So we should take a good chance of the discounted market now and benefit when Donald Trump is announcing incentive. You don't become, we hope that we don't become the follower, of the incentive. When the market rally only we go in, then that is already a bit late lah. Okay, so thanks everyone for listening to my nagging speech today. God bless and don't panic. It's a chance and the world is still in good shape, right? Bye.